Hello everyone. In today's video I'm going to be having a play around with a CMYK palette. CMYK stands for cyan, magenta, yellow and black, and it's the same combination that your home printer would use. In theory you should be able to mix pretty much any colour with these four paints, but how easy it is to mix all the colours you might need in a painting remains to be seen. So let's start by swatching out the three paints. For my cyan, I'll be using Rembrandt Phthalo Blue Red Shade, which is PB15. I could and maybe should have used the green shade, but I just prefer the red shade. For my magenta, I'm going to use Rembrandt Quinacridone Rose Magenta, which is PR122. This is a new pigment to me as I only got it a few days ago, so it's going to be interesting to try this one as I've never mixed with a magenta before. And for my yellow, I'll be using Mijello Mission Gold Lemon Yellow, PY3. This is not as transparent as I would have liked for this video, but it's the only non-cadmium yellow I have, so maybe I'm going to need to invest in a transparent yellow at some point. Okay, let's see them in a colour wheel and try some mixes. Okay, so I've drawn out my slightly wonky colour wheel. Okay, we'll start by painting the lemon yellow. Then we'll paint the magenta. And the phthalo blue as the cyan. Right, that's the three colours I'm going to mix from. Now, first I'm going to mix the lemon yellow with a touch of magenta to make a yellow orange. And then I'm going to add a little more magenta to it to mix an orange. Okay, that looks pretty good. Next I'll add some more magenta and mix a red. I probably could have added a little more magenta to this to make the red a bit deeper. Okay, now onto the violet part of the wheel. So I'll start with the magenta and add a little cyan. And that will give me a nice red violet. Now add a little more cyan to make a purple violet. And lastly adding a little more cyan to make a blue violet. This one almost looks like an ultramarine. Now onto the green part of the colour wheel. Starting with some lemon yellow, and I'll add a little bit of cyan, and this will give me a green yellow. Then add a little more cyan to make a green. And finally a little more cyan to make a blue-green. Okay, not a perfect colour wheel, but hopefully you get the idea. As you can see here, this triad of colours is very bright, so if I want to use it for landscapes, I'd have to do a lot of neutralising with the third colour in the triad. Okay, so that's the C, M and Y. What about the black? So the black I'm going to be using is Coal Black by Paul Rubens. I didn't choose this black for any particular reason, it's just the only black I have that doesn't granulate heavily. So what is the black for? Well, of course, it's a ready mixed black if you need to use a black. It's also for toning down or desaturating colours. It also can make a pretty interesting green when mixed with the lemon yellow. It's a very neutralised kind of olivey green, I guess. You can also use the black to mix the earth colours. Like if I use lemon yellow and magenta to mix an orange, then add a touch of black, I can get a okay burnt sienna hue. I can also mix an orange and add some black to create a kind of a burnt umber hue. For the yellow ochre, I don't really need the black, just the lemon yellow and magenta kind of gets it close enough for me. Of course, these are just rough approximations of the earth colours. The real thing is obviously still much better. Of course, you don't need black to mix these earth colours. Here on the left are ones I mix with just the cyan, magenta and yellow. On the right are the actual real pigments. So what do you think of the CMYK palette? Have you ever tried painting with it before? I definitely think it's a versatile combination. You can mix nice saturated greens and violets, and the oranges are okay too. I just don't think it would fit the way I like to paint. I would have to neutralize everything, so every color would be a 3-pigment mix. If I was choosing a 4-color palette for sketching, I probably would be much better off with an already neutralized palette of colors. It would save a lot of mixing time for me. I do think this palette is great as a learning tool though. So, do you think I should make a video trying to paint a landscape with this palette? There's every chance it would be a disaster, but it could be fun to try. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye.